Hi, I'm Jeannie and I'm here from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and I want to talk to you about an issue that we hope never falls in your lap, but if it does. I have been in a knitting store and wanted some yarn so badly, but they didn't. They had mixed lots and the lots didn't look good, but I knew I had to have that yarn. I would never see it again, and so I've gone ahead and purchased mixed lots. What I'm holding here is some of our hand-dyed Madeline Tosh. Hand-dyed yarns can be tricky because they are hand-dyed. Even when they come from the same lot, they can have slight variations. Now, I'm using Madeline Tosh as an example. We do carry several lines of hand-dyed yarns. And the lots do matter. It does matter. Madeline Tosh, however, has no dye lots. So always keep that in mind. When we're pulling your order here at the shop, we are always checking. We take them out in the sun. We really try to come as close as possible. If you ever have an issue, before you start knitting, give us a call. Let us try and fix that. But again, I'm using Madeline Tosh, which has no dye lots, as my example. The first thing I want to talk about is, this is her prairie yarn, by the way. This color is Thyme, and I think you can see they're both Thyme, but you can see the distinct difference in the lots. This is a hand-dyed issue. What I wanted to teach you today, and I don't have this knit up because I didn't want to. Well, I would love to work with this yarn. Oh, darn it. Anyway, but I just wanted to kind of give you a brief explanation on what you can do if this happens to you. You can work with two balls of yarn at the same time. This is a great example because it's not super variegated. It has slight nuances to the colorway, but it's going to work up really well if you wound both balls separately. If, say, you're doing a straight piece and you have you're going back and forth, you would work 2 rows of one color and 2 rows of the other color. So each time you come back to the beginning, you're going to have 2 strands on the same side. That will really minimize the difference in these 2 hanks of Thyme, and that's what I would do. If this was the last 2 hanks in the shop and I had to have them, it wouldn't bother me that these were so different, because by working them differently I can change the look. The other technique you can do, even working in the straight, is work 1 row, work your cast on row, choose the other dye lot, work a row. Let's see, how would that work? You have to actually work 2 rows with the cast on row. Thinking is good, Jeannie. And then when you get back to the beginning, when you get to this far side, you're going to add the second hank in and work back. So say if you're purling back, I know I'm being a little confusing, but if you're purling back, you're going to use the other hank, and you're going to drop them each at each side. So each time you go back, you switch this so that you're picking up each ball of yarn, and you're really only doing 1 row of each color. Now that works really well with 2 colors like this. Say you had 3 hanks that were really different, and again I dove into the Madeline Tosh box and was able to easily find 3 hanks that were extremely different. Sandy taught me something new so that I could teach you, because she refuses to get on the camera, she's a little stinker, how to use 3 differently. And I'm going to turn, we've got 3 very random yarns here that we took out of our balls, our random yarn stash, and we're working with them to show you the difference. So you can see that she casts on with 1 color. Right here at the bottom, there's the cast on. Instead of working with that color over to the other edge, she used the second color that she wanted to work with and worked over to this other side, and then purled back with the 3rd color. So you can see she's actually creating stripes. Now if this was the same kind of yarn, in other words a variegated yarn that was mixed dye lots, maybe you had 3 different dye lots, it's going to change the look of your yarn dramatically. So this is something you really want to keep in mind. The other thing, it would be very easy to do every row with a new ball if you were working in the round, because you just carry that up inside. So what she's done is you're always going to be switching a color here at the edge. So now we would work over with this pink yarn, knit across, and pick up whatever's over here, this kind of steel blue yarn, and work back. Now this is an extreme example, and it's a really good demonstration of also how to do stripes, so you got 2 for 1 here, but it shows you how different things can look. Now you need to use your imagination a little bit and imagine that you're using 3 hanks of mix lots. This is going to change the look for you and get some more mileage out of that mix lot problem. So that's one way to deal with those 3 hanks that were different. And then again, the other way, you can just do 2 hanks and either swap them out on either side, so you're only doing every other row and switching them from side to side. Do 2 rows with 1 hank and 2 rows with the other. You just really, I really want to have you keep in mind that if you're using something like Lorna's Laces, which is notorious for pooling, in other words, the colors kind of pool and flow together, that's one of the features that I love. If you're doing this technique with a yarn like that, it's going to really, really change the look. So I'm going to mention swatching, give it a try, see if you like the look, play before you cast on 300 stitches and you're knitting your sweater or something like that. But hopefully this gives you some ideas, gives you some ways to get around some of these hand-dyed yarn issues. Just using Madeline Tosh as an example because it's a beautiful yarn and I like to touch it, and I was able to grab these 2 hanks that were so dramatically different. So again, this is how you can minimize those differences. You can use more than 1 ball of mixed lots and salvage your project. So have a great day, happy knitting, and thanks for watching.
Thunder rumbles on this American summer night. There's kids on the corner stuck in a switchblade fight, and the rock and roll bands play for the girls on the beach.